Hi guys, this is the first session of AC 1.2, assess the usefulness of investigative techniques in criminal investigations. Firstly, thank you to those of you who have completed the AC 1.1 control assessment. Some really good stuff, really good stuff. Remember to link your evaluation to the headings explicitly, so one limitation link to availability is that type of thing. Okay, so that's kind of where some of you kind of just lost a few kind of little marks on the quality. So if you need to just tweak that, do tweak it. That'd be really useful. So this is assess the usefulness. So what does assess mean? It means to make a judgment of the quality. Okay, so basically we're saying how good are the different techniques in criminal investigations. Okay. So quite similar to the last one, what you did about the roles. Now we're looking at what the actual techniques to collect evidence in criminal investigation. I really like this criteria, but the thing that should stand out to you is this 20 marks. Wow, 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 wow. This is so much fun. Okay, so this is the most important criteria of Unit 3. Okay, it's a fifth of the mark in your control assessment. So, as you can imagine, this needs to be done so well, so much effort put into this, and you just need to stay. Like I said, you can't catch this back up. You've got to get back on and stay on track. Okay, this needs to be done superstar, brilliant. Okay, so. What are the techniques? So there are, as it's a 20 marker, as you can imagine, there's quite a lot of criteria that we need to kind of tick off here. So the techniques that we're going to look at are, first of all, the use of databases. The first two are linked to how the police can use their computers in their cars and stuff. But the last database is the DNA database, which is really interesting for ethical issues. We'll then look at fingerprint analysis and how it's done. We'll look at profiling, my favourite thing. So we'll look at kind of the two models, how we actually friend and profile crime scenes. So just start binge watching Criminal Minds. Just binge watch it, okay? Then we'll look at kind of techniques of how we interview eyewitness testimonies, EWT, eyewitness testimonies, the use of expert witnesses in courts and kind of collecting the evidence. And then we'll look at CCTV, which we've done a bit of, and then covert observation, spy stuff, but like counter-terrorism, really, not like James Bondy. But if you want to watch James Bond movies as well, that's great. So for each of these, we need to be able to describe what it is, how it's good, so useful, how it's not useful, have a case to show how useful or not useful it is, and then make a judgment on the usefulness. Okay. So the first session is databases. This is probably the least interesting, so let's get it done. And we need to go through the three types of databases. Okay, so what they are, there are different databases to help investigate crime. They hold information about witnesses, property, any other relevant information, addresses that we kind of need. So the first one, the Police National Computer, the PNC, okay, is used around the country for sharing information between different police forces and kind of law enforcement agencies, and it also links to a Europe-wide IT system called the Schengen Information System. Okay, so we can kind of put alerts out for people. So this person, we need this person. Okay. So it can provide real-time checks, so they can just type into this database and go, oh, type in this registration, oh, it's not a missing car, it doesn't matter, we'll ignore it, that type of thing. So used for kind of like some serious stuff and some not so serious stuff. Okay, so missing people for extradition, stolen objects, vehicles. Okay, so is it useful? Is it effective? Okay, so this is real-time checks and stuff, so you can be out and about on your computer. Okay, right, we need to seize this person, that type of thing. You can see it Europe-wide. Obviously, with Brexit, there is massive debate. It still hasn't been resolved if we're going to be allowed to use the European system, which would be bonkers if we can't. Okay, so that might go onto the not effective stuff page now a little bit as well, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, one massive issue is it doesn't show photos. How the hell are you supposed to catch someone if you don't have a photo of them? Like, let's be honest, like, people can change their hair, colour, style to make it harder anyway, but if you can't see someone, a person of 5'10" with brown hair, like, rubbish. Unless they've got like big tats or something obvious, it's fairly, it doesn't help really. And it is being phased out, as is the next one, but we'll come on to that as well, so we kind of know the limits of the effectiveness. A good starting point now. The second one is the Police National Database. Okay, loads of stuff on this. So as you can see, 3.5 billion bits of data. Okay, again, used with all forces and shared with other peoples on other law enforcement agencies. And the interesting thing about this is this kind of started from the Soham murders. I think you've looked at those, Holly and Jessica, and the two girls who were killed by the kind of sex offender caretaker at their school. And obviously we've got Sarah's Law based on it, but also it kind of came about that we should share information. So this is kind of massive deal for this to kind of come into kind of service. Okay, so the main benefits: safeguard children, really useful in terrorism and serious crime, so the NCA stuff. Okay, so it really helps with those kind of areas. A lot more kind of usefulness here, so we can share between forces. We've got just loads of stuff on here. There's so much stuff, which is great. Was it 3.5 billion at my last looking of how much kind of images or records they have? It can just be used to help protect, detect, and solve crimes. And interestingly, it links to allegations as well as convictions. So you might, if you kind of got a suspect and you go, oh, well, he's been a suspect in this, she's been a suspect in that. It kind of, you shouldn't ever judge people by their previous things, but it might help you. However, this is a separate database to the other one. Again, it's been replaced. It should have been this year. Not really going to happen. And as I said, like, the future is this new database, which is going to be called the Law Enforcement Data Service, LEDS. Not coming to point yet. Too much going on at the moment. Okay, so obviously this means the usefulness of the databases is we know the limitations of them. Useful, but not perfect. And hopefully this next one will be perfect, because everything we do in government is perfect. Okay, any government, any party, they're always perfect. Okay. So this leads into the third database that we need to know about, and probably we'll use this more. Okay, it's the National Crime Intelligence DNA database. So first of all, watch this YouTube clip. So I can't put YouTube clips into here because for some reason it then deletes all of my video talk, which is probably more useful than having an embedded video. Okay, so just search on YouTube DNA Saves Lives, how the DNA database works. Okay, not a long video, but you'll get the gist of it. So what is this? So it was set up in 1995 under the PACE Act. Okay, so when we collect samples, okay, we store them on a computer, and if obviously we then have samples, we can match them to see if we've got a match. Okay, obviously this gets more sophisticated as knowledge of DNA becomes more sophisticated, so lots of good use. However, my question to you is, should everyone be on the DNA database from birth? Think about it. I think we should. Really controversial. I think I know the issues here. I know the issues. But can you imagine if we had everyone's DNA on file, and then any crime, there's any DNA, we know who it is. Simple as that. However, think of the cons of this. Your own protection, your data protection. Obviously, data protection is getting increased all the time. Okay, the ethics of it. Should the government know our DNA? My simple argument to that is if you've got nothing to hide, it doesn't matter. But what if people get hold of this information and use it wrongly? Okay, so I know the weaknesses and the shortfalls of this, but wouldn't it help? Oh, civil liberal. I'm a liberal. We don't like things like this, but I do. I don't know. Oh, but there you go. Have a thing in Kevland. We have their DNA of everyone. crime, so we know. But obviously there's no crime in Kevland because everyone's treated equally and fairly, and no one wants more than they have deserved. But yes, in Kevland we have it. So is this useful? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so it can lead police to suspects and rule out people. It's a permanent record. Always improving technology that is amazing. We've used it for cold cases. Now that is a great TV show, Cold Case. So the familial DNA and the Melanie Road case. Okay. Quick Google here. You can find out all about how this was used for the first time. However, the usefulness, the human rights and privacy. Okay. If you're not convicted, your DNA must be destroyed, which is interesting because one of the old databases they kept allegations. Okay, so that's limiting the usefulness, but good for people's liberty and individual needs. As I said, there's a risk of data breaches and abuse here. What if the DNA gets contaminated and you get told this is your DNA when it's not yours? Some of you would have done the Adam Scott case, so you've got that already. Clearly, not everyone is on the database, so that limits its use and the ethic on. So really interesting, I think. So there are 6 things to do for each of the 3 databases. Oh no, I take that back. So listen carefully. Do A, B, C and D for all 3 databases. Okay. And then do E and F for just the DNA one. Okay. So that's simple one because all the cases will be DNA. Okay. So A, B, C, D for all 3. Then after the DNA one, outline your case and then make a judgment overall as well. Okay. As always, if you need anything, I'm on Teams. Call me, whatever. Okay. Hope you're doing well, guys. Maybe we get back at some point in June before we break up at the beginning of July. Okay. So keep going. I know it can be hard for some of you, but we can do this. All right. Good luck.